The other brainchild of the mad genius Justin Roiland, Solar Opposites, like its sister show Rick and Morty, is packed full of super meta references, pop culture gags, movie parodies, brilliant foreshadowing, and suggestions to a greater connected universe. In this video, we are going to take a look at 25 of these things that Roiland hid in the show that you might have missed the first time around, so let's take a look. Seeing as Solar Opposites is the sister show to Rick and Morty, it's no surprise that there's a number of references to R&M in Solar Opposites. Now, due to ownership issues, there has been no direct crossover between the two, but fans believe that they are part of a connected universe, and that can be seen in the Easter eggs throughout. Take, for instance, the Swifty Jazz Club, which is certainly a nod to Rick and Morty, or even the similarities such as the use of portals, character types, aliens with funny names, and the creation of creatures that become increasingly uncontrollable. But the closest the show gets to a direct crossover are the times pictures of Rick and Morty characters can be seen in Solar Opposites, such as there being a picture of Summer in the episode The Patricia Device, or the picture of Morty in the episode The Quantum Ring. I just hope a Meeseeks or a Mr. Poopy Butthole also make a subtle appearance in Solar Opposites sometime soon.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks! Look at me!
While animation style, world building, and humor is very similar between Solar Opposites and Rick and Morty, the main thing they share is the voice cast. Justin Roiland, who is the co-creator of both shows, is unsurprisingly one of the lead voices, with him providing the vocals for Rick, Morty, and Corvo. But other actors to appear in both are also Thomas Middleditch, Christina Hendricks, Alfred Molina, Carrie Walgreen, Andrew Daly, Alan Tudyk, Tom Kenny, and Gary Anthony Williams. But my favorite instance of an actor appearing in both is Game of Thrones' Liam Cunningham, Sir Davos Seaworth. He plays the pupa in Solar Opposites, and the dragon Balthramah in Rick and Morty. But Rick and Morty isn't the only major animated show to be referenced in the series, with America's favorite family, The Simpsons, showing up in Solar Opposites. In the season finale, the back of the Simpson family can be seen, with them even sporting the mesmerizing and kinda creepy pupils sported by every Roiland animated character. Of course, The Simpsons crossed over with Rick and Morty as well, with Roiland taking over the couch gag for the episode Mathlete's Feet. Also, speaking of the Simpsons couch gag, Justin Roiland admitted that the opening monologue to each Solar Opposites episode is actually inspired by the couch gags, as he wanted to have a reoccurring gag that is slightly altered every time at the very start of the episode. Also, the constant Hulu jokes are also a nod to The Simpsons, as they would always make fun of their home network, Fox, back in the day.
No.
With all these connections between Solar Opposites, Rick and Morty, and The Simpsons, many fans believe that they are all part of a connected universe.
That's what I've been trying to tell you.
As we mentioned earlier, there are ownership issues at Solar Opposites, and The Simpsons live under the Disney umbrella, while Rick and Morty are part of Warner Media. However, maybe we will see an episode of interdimensional cable where all three of them cross over. Maybe. One of the things that has made Rick and Morty, and The Simpsons in particular, so successful is the gaps and hidden jokes they have in the background. Solar Opposites is no different, even hiding a sneak pun involving their title in the background. In the miniature dystopian world in The Wall, where shrunken humans have to milk mice to survive, if you look in the background of the mouse milker's hut, you'll see a hidden joke. Written on one of the popsicle sticks are the words, "Why will Mercury and Pluto's relationship never last? Because they're solar opposites." And here I was thinking it was my job to provide the dad jokes. As we mentioned, Solar Opposites is the brainchild of Justin Roiland, who is known for his manic and meta humor. An example of this is the time he made a super meta and manic joke at his own expense in the first 5 minutes of the first episode. In the episode, Corvo and Terry are watching the show Funbucket, who they later bring to life, by the way.
Bingo, bango, I'm Funbucket!
And the creepy critter is seen strangling a man in a Hulu shirt. That man is none other than Justin Roiland, and this can be seen as a reference to a creation killing its master, like Frankenstein, which is a frequent storyline in both Solar Opposites and Rick and Morty. As we said, Solar Opposites are known for their funny gags in the background, and they often use Terry as a tool to do this. In particular, his t-shirts. Most of his t-shirts are innocent, such as E.T. Text Home and Flashback, done in the style of Flashdance, Mayor of Shondaland, which is a reference to the production company owned by Shondaland, while others are a little more suggestive and not ones I think I can explain on YouTube. It's worth going through the show and just looking at Terry's shirts alone. A shirt that we did not mention is actually one of the best. The shirt in question is the one with 17.547 wrap, which is a reference to the famous "It's a Trap" line delivered by Admiral Akbar in Return of the Jedi. Other Star Wars references in the show include Corvo's computer, which looks very similar to the Death Star, while Terry can be seen wearing Poe Dameron's PJs, War in the Stars posters, and Gretchen Darth Maul. Another major franchise Solar Opposites makes a reference to is one of the biggest of all time, Harry Potter. In the episode The Quantum Ring, where Corvo is seen as a magician online by the name of Burn Victim Trashman, when the video goes viral online, it's under the title of Burn Victim Voldemort Guy Trash Magic, which of course is a reference to the Dark Lord himself, you know, the main villain in the Harry Potter series. In episode 4 of the show, the pupa goes on his own wacky adventures until he finds himself at the Rare Collectors Academy, where he's auctioned off for a big price. Although he's not auctioned off as the pupa, but instead another mythical creature with godlike powers, SpongeBob SquarePants. But the pupa isn't the only famous face to be up for auction, with other major Disney characters such as Donald Duck and Paddington Bear also visible. I wonder which other Disney characters we'll see down the line. I'm personally hoping for Stitch. Harry Potter isn't the only movie referenced in the episode The Quantum Ring. After creating the titular Quantum Ring, he's interviewed about it, and the interviewer refers to it as Stargate, just like the movie with Kurt Russell. Another Kurt Russell movie reference comes with the self-appointed Duke of the Wall, who is based on the Duke of New York from Escape from New York, with the two sharing a similar character arc. I hope they make a Hateful Eight or the Thing reference next. One thing that you probably did not miss, but there are some obvious parallels between Corvo and Superman. In particular, their origin story and the destruction of their homeworld. Like Krypton, Schlorp, the planet where Corvo is from, undergoes an apocalyptic fate at the hands of a giant asteroid, which Corvo reveals during the opening credits. From there, the Schlorpians have to find a new planet to live on, with Corvo and company finding themselves on Earth, all of which is very similar to Superman and his origin story. The architecture and landscape of Schlorp and Krypton are also strikingly similar when you place them side by side. Season 1 had some great movie references, but Season 2 went even further on the movie parody front. References to Jurassic Park, AVP, Great Escape, and The Shawshank Redemption are all made in the second season, but probably one of the best homages to a movie comes in the 4th episode, where they pay homage to Wolf of Wall Street with some human-style darts. Although knowing Solar Opposites, I doubt that this will be the last reference to the show, and I'm just waiting for Quaaludes to pop up somewhere. My personal favorite, though, comes as a homage to one of the greatest horror movies of all time, The Shining, by the legendary director Stanley Kubrick. The homage in question comes in the 2nd episode of Solar Opposites, when Yumulak is attacking Jesse and they create the iconic "Here's Johnny" scene. Although I do want to give a quick shout out to Futurama, who also have a great parody of The Shining in binary, because let's face it, Shining parodies are tight. If you're a manga fan, you are most likely very familiar with One Piece, and for good reason. The exceptionally popular and long-running manga may have a whole host of characters, but one of the most familiar is Ace, with trademark hat, which is fitted with smileys and red beads. However, Ace and Hat seemingly lead different lives, with his hat making an appearance in Solar Opposites on the first Sherry Day in the Wall. The citizens come together to celebrate Sherry by wearing a mask of her, and if you look in the right-hand corner, you can see one of them wearing Ace's trademark hat. From manga to sci-fi now, with another popular property to be referenced in Solar Opposites being Minority Report. The book by Philip K. Dick and the movie by the same name are well known in the sci-fi genre, and seeing as Solar Opposites is a sci-fi comedy that likes to parody the field, it's unsurprising they make a reference to Minority Report. So in Season 2, as Corvo conducts his war on dinner parties, he consults his ecogs, individuals with the power to sense evites before they're sent, which is a direct reference to the precogs from Minority Report. As we mentioned, Minority Report isn't the only sci-fi referenced in Solar Opposites, with the RoboCop being another feature in the show, but one of the best sci-fi references comes in the moment that Terry and Corvo are lined up alongside Alf, Conehead, and Mork in a police lineup. Have you ever looked at Ethan and thought to yourself, that guy's familiar? Well, there's a reason for that. Ethan is the sociopathic former rock climber who becomes the main suspect in Halk's investigation in the wall until he learns that Ethan is but one link in the conspiracy chain. Ethan also sets it upon himself to cleanse the wall as he sees himself as a god amongst tiny men. With all of these references to religion and major conspiracy theories, plus with that familiar appearance with the pale skin, fair hair, and crazed eyes, he is clearly a parody of the assassin Silas in the DaVinci Code. When you put Ethan side by side with Paul Bettany's portrayal of the character, the similarities are pretty obvious. Continuing on with the wall theme as Sherry sets out on a journey to reach the Duke's perceived utopia, her only prominent beacon is the Walgreens billboard peeking over the top of Terry and Corvo's backyard fence. The advert showcases the employees of Walgreens celebrating the 4th of July, but it is not just any typical 4th of July celebration. In fact, it's in the theme of a Gilead 4th for a Handmaid's Independence Day Spectacular, which is of course a reference to the Margaret Atwood novel Handmaid's Tale and of course the show of the same name, which also plays on Hulu. But of course, if you have read the book or watched the show, you will know the irony of this reference, as The Handmaid's Tale has very little to do with independence. While watching the show, fans expected Tim to be the shining hero of the series, but of course he takes a dark turn and basically just fills the shoes left by the Duke. Tim was initially modeled after two well-known heroes, Luke Skywalker and Conan the Barbarian, although the link to Conan is a lot clearer, especially the image of him sitting on the throne, which is almost a like for like with Conan. Unfortunately for everyone, Tim still sees himself as the heroic figure and not a horrible murderer as he actually is. Another major reference comes in the form of a nod to Law and Order. When Corvo, Terry, Jesse, and Yumulak get sent to prison after what they did to Peter, they're given counsel by a very familiar lawyer. The smartly dressed lawyer with blonde hair and glasses looks strikingly similar to Alex Cabot, who Law and Order Special Victims Unit fans will know all too well. Actress Stephanie March, who plays Alex, also provided the voice for her animated lookalike on Solar Opposites, providing that typical tough and determined personality that we are also accustomed to. Another reference to Law & Order is the Dick Wolf shirt worn by Terry, who is a longtime producer and creator of the show. Seeing as the third episode of Season 2 of Solar Opposites, where Corvo tries to manipulate past Terry into making future Terry more bearable, is a reference to the sci-fi ROM The Lake House, is it any wonder that references end at the plot? In fact, the strange device aboard the Schlorpian ship is strikingly reminiscent of the lake house occupied by both Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock in the movie. However, Corvo seems unaware of the similarities. While a number of the references that we've gone over so far are fairly mainstream, there are some which are a little more niche, such as the reference to the Japanese manga and movie series Lone Wolf and Cub. It's about a disgraced Ronin and his son who traverse feudal Japan as mercenaries for hire, with them always working to restore family honor and achieve vengeance from those who sought to dishonor them, all of which coincidentally sounds like The Mandalorian when you take out the whole honor thing, but anyway. The reference in question comes when a shunned and disgraced Sherry who's been left to die in the wilderness of Corvo and Terry's backyard is forced to give birth to her son and live long enough to get revenge and provide a good life for her child. Before he found himself in the wall, Halk was an executive story editor for Bones, which made him the perfect person to investigate the string of murders taking place inside the wall. What makes him an even more perfect choice is the fact that his voice actor, Sterling K. Brown, has played a number of investigators before. Brown's played a detective in Person of Interest and an officer in Third Watch, and he's also appeared in NCIS, Without a Trace, Castle, and Criminal Minds. As we said earlier, Tim may have been set up as the hero of the wall before turning into the villain, but his true nature was actually jokingly hinted at early on. In the moment he is shrunk down, Jesse explains that he deserved it, as he's probably a Nazi. So we probably should not have been so surprised when the guy turned out to be a ruthless dictator. So if you were paying attention when we started this, you would have heard me say 25 things, but you know what? We got some time left, so here are some extra facts. So this one you might already know, but while the season 1 storyline in The Wall took inspiration from the likes of Mad Max, Game of Thrones, and Escape from New York, the second season arc took inspiration from a historic event, the War of the Roses, as the production really wanted to play with the different genres and the style of the show. Other sources of inspiration for the second season arc was the HBO crime drama True Detective, as well as the movie Seven. And let's leave with a final piece of trivia. The show was originally conceived by Fox, but they decided to shelve it. But it didn't stay out of Disney hands very long, as Hulu, who if you didn't know, are also now owned by Disney, eventually picked it up.